A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to welcome you to the ninth episode of webinar series titled Why Corporate Sector. This webinar is the 24th BSL webinar for the year 2025 and 2026. This webinar series is organized by the Webinars and Legal Symposiums Committee of BSL. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the chairman of the Webinars and Legal Symposiums Committee and the president of BSL, Mr. Rajiv Amasuri. The co-chairman, Mr. Chakragalhana, Secretary of BSL, and Mr. Pasandi Silva, the treasurer, and the conveners and co-conveners and the members of the Webinars and Legal Symposium Committee of BSL. I would also like to extend my heartiest gratitude to the Executive Committee of BSL for all the support and guidance. In today's episode of Why Corporate Sector, we have with us an esteemed guest, Mr. Kirti Pathiraja. Mr. Pathiraja is an attorney at law and called to the bar in 2004 with over 20 years of experience as a corporate legal professional. He possesses strong expertise in corporate law and governance, international business law, dispute resolution, mergers and acquisitions, customs, maritime, antitrust, data privacy, and food and consumer legislation. Throughout his career, Mr. Pathiraj has served in diverse industries, both local and multinational, ranging from energy and gas to food and beverages, successfully handling complex legal issues and transactions at both local and international levels. Currently, Mr. Pathiraj heads the legal and regulatory affairs function at Nestle Sri Lanka as the assistant legal and regulatory company secretary and as a member of the management committee. He plays a pivotal role as the business partner and a member of Nestle Sri Lanka's management committee, navigating complex legal landscape and ensuring legal and regulatory compliance for the world's largest food and beverage company in its Sri Lankan subsidiary. Additionally, Mr. Pathiraja serves as a non-executive director at Limra Holdings Limited, a diversified Sri Lankan enterprise with business operations in Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, and India. Currently, Mr. Pathiraja is the chairperson of the Steering Committee on Legislation and Governance at the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce after having served as a member since 2017. Further, Mr. Kirti Pathiraja is a member of the Policy and Advocacy Committee of International Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka chapter. He also serves as a member of the Local Advisory Council of Colombo International Arbitration Center, established by International Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka chapter. He is also a visiting lecturer and examiner at the Chartered Institute of Personal Management. Mr. Pathiraja holds a Master's of Law in International Business Law and a Master of Business Administration, reflecting a strong foundation in both legal and business disciplines. I warmly welcome Mr. Kirti Pathiraja for today's session. Without any further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Shahara Herath, who will be the interviewer for today's session, to take over. Over to you, Shahara.
Thank you very much, Vinali. And once again, on behalf of the president of the BSL and its members, I would like to welcome Mr. Kirti Pathiraja, representing Nestle Sri Lanka, for another informative and interesting session on why the corporate sector. The corporate sector has been a rapidly developing sector in law, and more legal practitioners are joining the corporate sector. More and more legal opportunities are available for practitioners in the corporate sector. And this webinar series was initiated by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka in order to discuss the career opportunities available in the corporate sector for young lawyers for their career development. And today we have Mr. Kirti Pathiraja, who represents Nestle Sri Lanka, obviously one of the most popular brand names in our households for many decades. And it's a great honor and a pleasure to have you here, sir. And my first question to you is, why did you personally choose the corporate sector as opposed to maybe private practice or working in an NGO or the government sector? Why did you specifically choose the corporate sector? And after you completed your attorneys at law, what made you join the corporate sector? Would you like to share your story with all the young lawyers and the law students who are here with us today?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you very much for BSL and the president of BSL for inviting me for this session. And thank you, Denali, for your introduction, and Shara for hosting this discussion. Answering to your question, I started my career as a junior counsel, just after taking notes or passing out from the law college. I worked with a few seniors as one of their junior counsel. I had the exposure to appear before in most, I think, almost all the layers of the courts. And at the same time, I had the opportunity to work with many corporate clients. So I think that was my the point I thought of joining the corporate, as opposed to, as you are well aware, there are many other career opportunities available to, career paths available to lawyers. It can be judiciary, it can be private practice, it can be official bar, it can be public sector. So the reason I had a sort of a influence to choose corporate sector because of the background, or because of the opportunities I got to work with corporate client. So as an external counsel or as an external advice, I had the opportunity to, when I'm working with corporates or the corporate clients, I observe how the corporates are being operated, how businesses are being operated, what are the strategies, and advising their boards how a board will look at the problem, or how because since I had the exposure as a external counsel or as external junior counsel, the way we look at a problem from the private the practitioner is different, is totally different sometimes when you look at or when you evaluate that problem as an in-house person. So I had while at that time I was supporting certain operations, certain decisions as an outsider or as an external advisor, but I wanted to be a person inside the business, or to realize or enjoy how a business works. At the same time, I had a personal motivation, and I wanted to be at the table when the decisions are made, not as an external person or not after the decisions are made. So this is my this is the way it influenced me to when I'm choosing my career path. And again, one of my personal motivation I got was the interest in business decision making, because as a corporate counsel, we have seen in certain cases, you're operating as an internal, you're operating as a law firm inside the organization. No, it's not the way the in-house counsel should work, or a corporate counsel should work. You are an integral part of the business, and you can't think as outsider, and you are responsible for certain decisions you have influenced, or the certain decisions you have supported. And again, my desire to have a direct impact for the growth of the business, on their strategies and operations in new business proposals. And again, the external business environment is very dynamic, and you will have challenges overnight, and different challenges, because whatever happens in the world, it will have an impact on your business. So working in a business environment, so I had the courage to face many problems, and even to sometimes to forecast certain things, how to face certain situations, how to continue the business in challenging environment. So these are this is, I think, the personal motivation I got. And again, when after I joined the corporate, I realized there are multiple areas for professional development. Because if you are at the right organization, you will be first exposed to many areas of practice. It can be it depends on your organization, depends on the business. It can be contracts, it can be compliance. The compliance will be different from business areas to areas. It can be mergers and acquisition, employment issues, IP, things like if you take the logistics, supply chain, shipping, and if you take today's world, we all talk about AI, and now most of the businesses, they now explore how AI can be used in businesses or as a support of the business. Now the data protection laws, right? Everything, all these things are there if you take it as a way to develop yourself in your profession. And access to many cross-functional collaborations, because when you are working in a corporate, as a corporate counsel or in a in-house counsel, you will have to work with all other cross-functions, because they are your, if you put it from the external counsel's point of view, they are your internal clients. Sometimes they are internal clients, sometimes you will have to collaborate with them as a part of decision-making. And again, you get the opportunity to grow as a business partner, as an integral part of the business, not as a purely external legal technician. And from the other side, you have the stability in your finances or in your perks. At the same time, a long-term career growth as long as you are in the right organization, or as long as your organization recognize your contribution. So that is important when you are joining. When you're joining a corporate, you need to have a sort of a self-evaluation whether you are joining the right place. And again, especially if you are in a global company or a large organization, you will have different exposures, diverse teams, diverse cultures, cross-border projects, cross-border transactions, and different assignments. So you all have, I think you get all these things when you're in a corporate. So at the very first stage, I did not see some of these areas when I was joining corporate, but I understood with the way I worked with in my younger days with my corporate clients, I understood corporate is a sort of a long way to go. It's a long journey if you join corporate. So this is my personal story and how I was influenced to be a corporate as opposed to other career paths.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your story with us. So now, my next question is, obviously in the world and in Sri Lanka, the corporate sector is growing rapidly. We see new and more businesses coming up. More businesses are formalizing as opposed to being in the informal sector. And more regulations and laws are now coming into place through enactment, and also already enacted laws are coming into force governing the corporate sector. So in this context, what is the current status of lawyers in the corporate sector? And do you see more lawyers joining the corporate sector? Is there an interest among lawyers to join the corporate sector? And specifically your industry, how do you see lawyers joining the corporate sector?
I can see there is a big interest nowadays for lawyers to join the corporate sector, because the corporate sector is also rapidly evolving. It's not the corporate sector we saw 10 or 5 years back, because the opportunities are different. Now the businesses are evolving, the cultures are evolving, thinking or the mindsets are evolving. So there are many things, dynamic things. So with that, I can see, if I personally observe, there are many opportunities in the corporate sector, as well as the people are also looking for, especially lawyers are very the interest has gone up to join corporate. Now, if you evaluate the current status, we need to see the perception created in the society or the organization, as well as the role you play. Right? The corporate lawyers are no longer, you can't consider as a support staff. So you are a strategic business partner. You are not a support staff, you are a part of the business. You are not an advisor, you are an integral part of the business. It's not that you come to the corporate legal department whenever you need advice, right? So the corporate legal team should be part of the decision-making table by design of the project, or by design of a product, or by design of the discussion. So that's why today's perception, or the perception is also developed or evolved as legal is the integral part of the business. And the recognition for the corporate legal role is also is developing, because it's developing into many areas. It's not, earlier we had the perception why you need corporate lawyers, either to handle litigation or either to handle conveyancing or contracts or to look after only compliance. No. Today's world is totally different, because the businesses are facing many issues. You have supply chain issues, you have geopolitical disruptions, you have different, the energy, sometimes it can be power, or it can be energy, it can be environmental issues, right? So, and with all these things, you need to mitigate the risk as well as to manage the risk. So when you are taking decisions, you need to see the governance aspect, you need to see the compliance aspect, and you need to see the risk management aspect, right? You need to see how the external environment will work, or you need to see how your consumers or your the consumers will behave, and how the public opinion will work. Now, with all these things, the corporate legal function is very important as a strategic partner of the business to take certain decisions. So that's why, but that is the biggest development in the corporate legal role. And again, in most of the progressive companies and in multinational companies, it was there for, I think, for last many years. That culture was there, because you had a seat at the decision-making table, or the decision table. The corporate legal had a seat. But even now, local companies, most of the local companies now, they are also very progressive to accept the same culture, to give the right seat at the decision-making table for corporate legal function, to have and to recognize legal as an integral part of the business. Not only that, now there are many other roles to be played by lawyers. Not now, I talk about the internal story. The external environment is very challenging. It can be the external legal or the regulatory front. It can be your regulators. Sometimes it can be other different advocacy groups. You have pressure groups, you have consumer movements, right? So when you are working with them, you need to have a lot of external advocacy to be in place to have a smooth either the legal or regulatory framework, or to have a it may not be smooth, but at least to have a smooth operation to your business, you need to put a lot of efforts for external advocacy. So when we are working with external advocacy efforts, you need to work with many industry associations, many professional bodies, right? To work with your counterparts in other companies, your counterparts in regulatory bodies, to engage with them to convince them to have business-friendly legal and regulatory environment. So you have many things to be played by a lawyer if you take an organization. It's not what we saw traditionally as the lawyers, in-house lawyers' role. So if I take my own industry, I'm into FMCG industry, and my company is into food and beverage. You must be aware most of the renowned brands we are into. So when it comes to my industry, is highly regulated. My industry is highly regulated. It being food or beverage, it's highly regulated, and there are a number of regulations governing each ingredient of what you consume day to day. In certain cases, even ingredients are regulated. The way a label should be finalized or the label should appear is regulated. How a product should be advertised is regulated. Even we are going through a sort of a transition of transition of even the labeling and advertising regulations for food, with a lot of restriction, a lot of challenges, and my organization is into infant food, infant milk, infant formula. So the infant formula is one of the highly regulated area, similar to other highly regulated products, where in certain cases advertising is prohibited and certain promotional activities are prohibited. So there are, it's a highly regulated area, but it needs your lot of creativity, not to break the law, but how to run your business, how to facilitate your business, how to facilitate your business activities within the given framework of the law. So at the same time, there are many other areas maybe common to most of other organizations, like digital marketing, sustainability, ESG, right? Now, those are the new areas coming across all the organization, and data protection. And luckily, the Sri Lanka, there's no the law governing AI yet, but things will come with the evolution of the legal frameworks in developed part of the world. So it's interesting always, whether you are in. It doesn't matter which industry you are in, but you will have a lot of things to play and a lot of things to get yourself engaged, and the corporate lawyer's role will be very interesting even in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Pathiraja. I think you have painted a very beautiful picture of being in the corporate sector, and I also think that being in the corporate sector certainly has certain opportunities as well as challenges when you compare corporate sector with other avenues available for a lawyer, as opposed to private practice or working in a non-governmental organization or working for the government. So would you also like to share what these opportunities and what these challenges are as well?
I will first take up challenges. Now, you have a bigger role to play to manage risk. You have a bigger risk management role. It can be legal risk, it can be regulatory risk, it can be sometimes things like taxation, things like all other external or internal exposures. But when you are playing your risk management role, you can't take a strict legalist approach, because end of the day, you have a business to run. You have a business to run. So when you are giving, or when you are managing, or when you are contributing for your risk management role, you will have to take a business-friendly approach and to contribute with your ideas how to facilitate it. It may not be the same case the original proposal was presented to you, but you can't just say no. If you say no, you should say how to do it, because you will have to take care of your business, not to close down or not to deny or decline the business proposals come to you. So you will have to facilitate with your ideas or with your contribution or with your expertise how to run the show without breaching the law. So that is one of the key challenge you will have to face, and you will have to contribute. So that should be one of your key role you need to play. And the other thing is the pressure to provide sometimes very quick solution and commercially viable solutions. It should be quick because when you take all these business proposals, we have deadlines. We have some of these proposals are impacting your business forecast, your sales forecast, your new products or new initiatives you are going to launch. So you will have to work within very strict timelines or sometimes very pressurized timelines. At the same time, you will have to provide commercially viable solutions, because again, you are working for a business. When you're working for a business, your solution should be commercially viable. So that is where you need to be, you should consider yourself as an integral part of the business, not as a separate department detached from the business. You should be a part of the business, and you should have the mindset of the businessman. And I have seen in some organizations, the undervaluation of legal function has been there in the past. I think it's rapidly evolving. I think going forward, it will not be there. But it was there sometime as compared to revenue generating function. Let's say if you take your sales department, if you take your marketing, so they are directly responsible for numbers or your the profitability or the sales or the revenue. But legal is not directly responsible for legal is not a revenue generating department, because legal has been considered historically as a cost center. But with your contribution, with the way you're contributing to your business, with the way you are facilitating your business proposals, I think you will be able to change that mindset within the organization. No, legal is not only a cost center, and legal provides a valuable input to the business for the continuity of the business, for the smooth operation of the business. So one challenge I see, another challenge I see is the constantly evolving legal landscape. So if you take, there are many things evolving in the business, in the legal landscape, which are directly relevant to businesses. If I take the law relating to digital technology, or ESG, or AI, competition laws. Luckily, the antitrust laws are so far not in Sri Lanka, but there are jurisdictions you have very strict antitrust legislations and strict antitrust regulators, even if you take closest India. If you take the data protection laws, personal data protection laws are also to be implemented in Sri Lanka very soon. And so likewise, there are rapid changes in the legal landscape. So these are the challenges I see in the corporate legal role you need to overcome with the way you handle things. But at the same time, there are many opportunities to compensate all these challenges. So you will, if you handle these challenges in a business-friendly manner, so you will be very soon a trusted business partner or a trusted advisor in the business, and you will be recognized as a strategic business partner or as an integral part of your business, and it will pave you a way to climb to the senior management or to your C-suite level very soon. And you will get the exposure to handle diverse matters like sometimes mergers and acquisition transactions, certain crisis management opportunities, and sometimes broader skill development in negotiations, in external negotiations. You will be given leadership roles, and you can expand your scope to things like governance and risk management, and sometimes even to areas like sustainability. And based on your organization, you will get opportunities to have certain international exposure or certain cross-border projects or cross-border transactions. And again, you will be able to influence the corporate culture. With your inputs, you will be able to influence the corporate culture with better or fair business ethics, sustainability initiatives, diversity, inclusion, and compliance. There are many opportunities. You can even influence your business, right? If I compare with other career paths, all the career paths are good, right? So you can develop yourself in all the career paths. It depends on your contribution, whether it can be private practice, whether it can be judiciary or official bar, it can be public sector, NGOs, corporate sector, right? So with right attitude, if you contribute as it fits to that culture, as it fits to the corporate culture, you will have better opportunities or better career opportunities. So your career will grow very fast.
Certainly, sir. And I actually, my next question to you involves a prediction from your side. So being in the corporate sector for almost 2 decades, I think more than 2 decades, and seeing a lot of lawyers coming into the corporate sector and climbing up the corporate ladder, what is your prediction for the next few years? Would there be a higher demand for legal practitioners in the corporate sector, or as some people predict, will AI take over the legal jobs available in the corporate sector? And do you want to justify your answer in any way?
Yes, there's a rising demand with the expansion of the corporate sector, because businesses are also, you can see in growth phase. Answering your question, whether AI will take the corporate lawyer's role, no. I will put it in this way. You should be able to get the AI support to make your life easier, right? So if you're a corporate lawyer, the person who will not using or who doesn't know how to use AI properly to make your life easier will have a problem in the future. But if you are using AI to make your life easier, to save time, to address certain non-value adding work, yes, you will have a better opportunity, and you will be able to find time to contribute to the business in a better way. But at the same time, people who want to get into the corporate sector, or people who are in the corporate sector, they should expand their wings in many areas, because there are a lot of legal and regulatory complexities in coming across many businesses, right? So one area is the ESG part, right? Because we in Sri Lanka, still the laws are to be developed on ESG, but definitely with when we are working with sometimes even if you don't have local laws, if you are working with your business partners, your above market, you may need to have certain ESG compliance, right? So one area to expand your wings or expand your exposure is ESG. As you very correctly said, AI. Yes, AI, you can use AI as a tool to help yourself. At the same time, your business will use different AI tools for different functions. So what are the repercussions when you will come across when you are using AI? Right now, if you see the AI Act which was introduced in the European Union, right? Still, yes, the law is being developed. But let's say if you are using AI, an AI tool to create a TV commercial, right? So if you create a sort of a TV commercial, right, you will, or you can use AI to create a label for your product or to create a sort of artwork to your product, right? So what are the other repercussions associated with the materials created by AI, right? It can be copyright issues. There can be certain the deepfake allegations. Likewise, there can be many other associated risks. But how to handle those things, right? So when you are, it's not that you will not use AI. You need to use AI, but how you can use AI with the right governance in place for the betterment of your business. So these things are you will have to keep your eyes open. You'll have to expand your thinking to these areas. So one is I talk about ESG. So one focus area on ESG is environmental sustainability. How your business deal with environment? How you deal with your environment deal with the society? How your environmental deal with your governance systems, right? So there are many things for you to consider, because one, we are not alone in Sri Lanka. We may have laws on certain areas, we may not have laws on certain areas, but we are into export businesses. We are working with our global suppliers. We are our brands. Maybe you must be sending up products, exporting to other countries. There can be a point that people will not consume your product, or people will not be ready to transact with you if you do not have proper ESG governance in place or proper ESG compliance in place. Even if we don't have laws, sometimes at least you may have to have certain best practices in place. At the same time, there can be many cross-border trade complexities. I think we all discuss these days how US reciprocal tax will work to different parts of the world, right? So the complexities are there always. So, but how we can navigate ourselves through these areas. So that is one area we need to keep our eye open to create a future demand for yourself, right? So because the demand will be there, but are you the right person to cater that demand? So that will be depending on how far you have expanded your thinking, how far you have expanded your capacity. And again, we are in a data-driven economy. So the privacy, cybersecurity, digital commerce, rights, and all these things. Now it's the latest story is quick commerce, right? So all these things we are dealing day to day in our operations, in our business areas, right? And again, again cross-border transactions. Sometimes you will get into mergers and acquisitions. Sometimes when you are dealing with countries with strong antitrust laws, even the antitrust authorities, they can even influence your share purchase, sale and purchase agreement, right? So likewise, there are many regulatory, even when you're working with certain the globalization, the other markets or other geopolitical issues, you will have different challenges. And not only that, even corporate governance. What are the ethical practices? Whether you have best ethical practices in your business, how do you handle your stakeholders, and there can be in certain cases, you will have investor activism. You'll have to deal with investor activism sometimes, and so all these areas you will have to keep your eye open. At the same time, when you are managing in-house legal function, your operation should be cost efficient, because you are working for a business. Your every cent or every penny matters. So you will have to run a cost efficient operation. So you will have to keep your mindset open for all these areas, not unlike, I think, what we used to believe in the corporate legal segment. There are many areas to develop yourself to cater that demand, because unless we expand our wings, so unless we cater, unless we expand our expertise, unless we get we enhance our expertise or the exposure to these areas, it will be little difficult to cater the demand. But yes, there is a demand, but for us to cater the demand, we will have to be equipped with all these new things.
Certainly. And also, Mr. Pathiraja, now you must have come across a lot of young lawyers joining the corporate sector, maybe getting promoted up the corporate ladder. Are there any specific tips or advisors you would like to share with young lawyers who are already in the corporate sector, or young lawyers or law students who are looking forward to join the corporate sector, on how to be successful in the corporate sector, and how to specifically, most of the young lawyers are interested in their career progression. I don't think anyone wants to be stagnant in one place for a long time. They want to see their career progress. So any advice or any tips you would like to share with them in order to climb up the corporate ladder?
Thank you. It's a very valid question, Shar, because I also, as a young lawyer, I also came through some of these areas. So first thing is, your mindset is very important. You should think as a business leader first, not as a lawyer. So your lawyer mindset should come secondary. You should create yourself or create your personality as a business leader if you want to be successful in your corporate career. And you'll have to change, or you'll have to shift your mindset from blocking the risk to enable opportunities, but with responsibility. Because sometimes when you are dealing with external business environment, you can't find zero risk opportunities, right? So when you see certain risks, you can't block that proposal, you can't block the business, but you will have to enable the business, knowing what are the risks, and sometimes you can have certain fallback plans if certain situations arises. So that is the mindset shift I see you should have if you are willing to join corporate, or if you want to progress your career in corporate. There are a few practical tips which I believe you should get the cross-functional exposure when you are working in a corporate. You should understand finance. You should understand how a balance sheet works, how a profit and loss statements work, right? You should know how to read the financial statement. You don't need to be an accountant, but you should know how to read the financial statement and grab certain key information, right? The profitability and certain ratios, right? And you need to understand how HR works, right? How the hiring process works, how to deal with trade unions when you are working with a unionized environment, right? How to deal with certain situations like termination, certain disciplinary matters, and training and development. And today, the supply chain is a very complex area, right? From your raw material up until the product goes to the consumer's hand, the entire supply chain is a very your entire value chain or the entire supply chain is a very the complex system. You should know how it works, and your marketing and sales, how your marketing team generate demand for your product, right? How you can support them, right? How you can facilitate their statements or product claims or service claims, right? And all these things, and how sales work, right? Or how your distribution works, how your product goes to the retailer, right? And what are the margins, or what are the terms and conditions in all these transactions. So all these things are very important for you to have a proper cross-functional exposure. So while you have the hands-on experience with your when you're working with your cross-functional colleagues, I can give a small tip. If you can do an MBA, right? There are many places to do MBA, but if you can do a good MBA, you will get a better exposure in many of these areas while you are working or while you're observing how your organization works. And the communication is key. So you have to build up your strong communication skills and how you should translate complex legal issues to a clear business advice. It's not that you are delivering a written legal opinion to one of your internal colleague, right? No one will read it. But you will have to translate. The legal issues are always complicated, very complex, right? It will deal with a lot of provisions, a lot of decided cases, right? But you need to communicate what is needed for your audience, right? If you go and present in your board meeting or with your to your management a very technical legal presentation, no one will listen to you. But you should be able to present that in a business language, how it works for the business, what steps you should take to avoid it, or what step you should take to overcome it. And another point, you should take ownership for things you are involved with. It's not beyond your legal scope, right? Let's say if you are involved in a transaction or a business proposal, don't get yourself limited only to the contract or only to the due diligence or only to the overlook compliance. Be a part of that entire transaction and be a co-owner of that entire project. So that is how you can sharpen yourself in strategic business decisions, right? Or how you can evolve yourself in strategic business decision making. So you should take the ownership to the beyond the legal scope, and always network. This is something very important. Network internally as well as externally, right? Your internal networking is required because we are a member of the management team. You are a part of the organization. You can't just work alone within within your cubicle or within your department, you need the support, or you need the collaboration from other departments or other divisions. Network internally as well as network externally. Engage with your counterparts in other organizations, engage with your regulators, engage with whatever the industry bodies or industry associations or professional bodies governing your areas. Your engagement and networking is very important for you to build your network, which can grow your opportunities at the same time, which will grow your exposure. And if there are opportunities, always don't say no to any new projects, any new initiative, international assignments, right? So don't say no. Take things, whether it is financially benefited or not, get yourself into those things, at least on voluntarily basis. When you get opportunities, don't say to new opportunities, and don't stop learning. The learning circle it's a continuous circle, right? You upgrade yourself always with new legislations, new business strategies, new areas like e-commerce or the legal infrastructure related to technology, and free trade agreements, trade tariffs, and all these things. Get yourself, because today the knowledge is at your fingertip, right? So you can search anything, and you don't need to go to a library and read 100 books to have the knowledge, right? So it's a simple, it's just typing few keywords for you to get the knowledge from your handheld device. So don't stop learning, and continue your learning circle or the learning cycle with new things, especially the evolving legal areas, as well as the evolving businesses.
Certainly, sir. And now, I'm sure during your time in the corporate sector, you have played the role of a recruiter, where you have interviewed possible candidates who are interested in being a part of your organization. So my next question is, I think this is very important for candidates who are willing to join or who are looking forward to join the corporate sector. In making the decision of recruiting a legal professional to your organization, or even in making the decision of a promotion, are there any specific talents that you would look for in an individual, or are there any specific attributes? I think these also connected to the earlier question, but I would also like to hear from you about are there any specific attributes or talents that you would look for in an individual when you're making that decision of recruiting a legal professional or promoting a legal professional?
The first thing is, again, the mindset. You should have a commercial mindset, not a legal mindset, right? So your business, your personality should appear as a business leader. The lawyer's mindset should come as a secondary thing. That is your core skill, but you should have your commercial mindset first, or as your business leadership first. And then you should be, your adaptability is very important, because in business environment, the things are not same, right? So your resilience and adaptability is a key skill for you to get recruited, as well as for you to climb up your corporate ladder. It can be navigating through evolving legal landscape. It can be evolving industry practices. It can be evolving technologies. and sometimes you need to work with pressure. You need to balance certain competing priorities. It can be working in a competitive business environment. Sometimes your competitors will do certain things that you will get disturbed in your businesses. So you need to have that adaptability and the resilience when you are working in challenging. Uh, you should uh, you should work as you are challenged sometimes. So you should be your resilience should be strong, or your adaptability should be strong to work in a very dynamic environment. And communication is a very key thing, right? You should have strong communication skill, and you should not talk with legal jargons. You can, when you are talking with colleagues in your profession, you can. But when you are working with the business community, when you are working with your corporate colleagues, you should not put legal jargons, right? You should use a very business friendly language to communicate, even if it is a strong or even if it is a very complex legal issue, as I said before. And your curiosity is important. Your willingness to learn, or you're eager to learn, your learning agility. And it's not just the law. It can be certain financial matters. It can be how marketing works. It can be how HR works, and how your procurement or your supply chain works, because you don't need to say it's not the job of the legal department. No, you can't say that, right? So, because we are working with collaboration with each of your colleague or with each of your cross functions. So you can't say it's not the job of the legal. It's, you should know, or you should open your eyes to other areas uh, which are out of your core interest or your core expertise. And the collaboration is something very important. You will have to work in collaboration with other cross functions. You can't say it's not my job again, right? You can't say it's not my job. So if you see something is going wrong, right, you should proactively alert them, right? Don't wait until they come to your to doorstep. Immediately alert them if you see something wrong, or some omission has happened. So that's how you can collaborate. Sometimes your collaboration will be a little complicated when you are working with multicultural or cross-border teams, right? So you will have to be flexible with their cultural aspect. Sometimes the way you address people, the way you talk to people, and sometimes time zones, right? So our time zone may not be their working time zone. So there are many things you need to collaborate with your internal and external stakeholders sometimes. And the one more important thing is your integrity. When you're working for a business organization, you can't compromise your integrity, right? Your integrity is very important. And sometimes you will be taken as the role model of uh, integrity, or you will be taken as the ethical compass of the organization. So your integrity is very important. You will have to maintain highest standards of integrity. And few other tips. Build yourself as a future proof profile, not for today, right? So while you are doing well today, build yourself as a future proof profile. Knowledge in evolving areas of business, evolving areas of legal landscape, as I said, digital, AI, data protection, taxation, trade tariffs. It can be free trade agreements, ESG or sustainability, right? So grab all these things wherever possible, right? Grab the knowledge, right? It's the knowledge today is, in many occasions, knowledge is free. It's at your fingertips. It's type in just few keywords and search all these things. So it's you have very easy access to all these to gain knowledge in many new areas. Be comfortable with technology and legal tech tools. Right now, there are many AI tools you can deal with certain things, especially in even when you are doing your corporate legal role. Let's say if you want to do a simple letter or simple demand claim, why do you spend 1 hour to process your code? Use a reliable AI tool and do it, right? So be comfortable with technology and use your valuable time to something which is important to your organization. And there are many legal tech tools, even locally, there are many available for you to have all statutes or sometimes even decided cases. There are many tools available. And finally, the strategic thinking. Think out of the box, think as a business leader, spot the risk, right? You identify the risk, but see how you can enable things and how you can enable your business opportunities, how grab opportunities earlier than your competitors, and be a strategic business partner to your organization and be an integral part of your business as a strategic business partner. So that will promise you a good future, a good career, and that's what I can contribute, Shahara, with my personal experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your story and your expertise with all who have joined in today. And this webinar will also be available on YouTube for further reference. So I thank you, sir, on behalf of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka for taking time off your schedule and sharing, specifically guiding young lawyers and law students in their prospective career path in the corporate sector. So with that, we would like to conclude today's webinar, and we would like to thank everyone who joined in today. And I would like to hand over the floor to Dinali.
You're on mute.
Thank you, Shahara. Brings us to the end of episode 9 of the webinar series on why corporate sector. I thank our esteemed guests, Mr. Kirti Pathiraja and Mr. Shahara Herath, for the fruitful and educational discussion and dedicating your time to be here with us and sharing your insights. We thank the BSL Webinars and Legal Symposium Committee for their dedication and hard work in organizing this insightful webinar. And last but not least, I thank all who have joined in for this session today through various platforms and for the interactive discussion that we've had. Thank you, and I hope you all have a good night.